If you could swap the word retirement with freedom and make it real in your calendar sooner than anyone expects, what would you change this week? Not someday this week. Be honest. Would you still treat money like a paycheck treadmill? Or would you start building a machine that buys your time back, one tiny cog at a time? I'm asking because the plan you've been sold, work until you're 60-something, then collapse into a hammock, was designed for a world that no longer exists. I want to give you a different plan, the one I used to hit my freedom target in my late 20s starting from zero. It's intense, it's simple, and it works because it turns big dreams into small, repeatable actions. If you commit even at your own pace, you'll be shocked how quickly retirement stops meaning old and starts meaning choice. Now start with a mental reset that will save you years of frustration. Retirement is not a number. It's a threshold. It's the moment your assets pay you enough each year that you can stop trading time for money. From that day forward, everything you do is optional. That might look like starting a company you actually care about, building something bold with a few friends, hanging out with your kids at 2 p.m. on a Wednesday. Or yes, ordering a ridiculous drink on a quiet beach. The point isn't the beach. The point is choice. People don't crave retirement. They crave the power to decide. So how do you aim at a target you've never hit? You calculate a freedom figure and you attach it to a plan you can actually execute. Most people never do this step, which is why they drift. There are only three kinds of people in this game: drifters, dreamers, and doers. Drifters let money arrive and disappear in the same month and tell themselves they'll get serious later. Dreamers talk about numbers a lot but never translate those numbers into actions. Doers write one number down, build a path, and walk it while everyone else debates on the sidelines. You know which one you want to be, so let's pick your number and build your path. Here's the simplest way to set your freedom figure without a spreadsheet. Decide how much you want your life to pay you per year when working is optional. Be specific. Don't say a lot. Say 36,000, 50,000, 80,000, 120,000. Now multiply that by 25. That's your rough target, because withdrawing about 4 of a diversified portfolio each year, historically, has supported very long time horizons without running dry. If your number is 50,000 a year, your target is about 250,000. If your number is 80,000, your target is about 2,000. Does that feel big? Good. Big targets force clear behavior. But don't let the size scare you. Your job is not to materialize 7 figures overnight. Your job is to build habits that compound until the math becomes inevitable. There's a second mindset shift that will speed everything up. In the early years, prioritize building wealth over maximizing cash flow. Cash flow feels great: more money in your pocket this month, a quick hit of safety, a chance to treat yourself. The trap is lifestyle inflation, and taxes swallow it. Wealth is quieter. You buy assets that grow, and you reinvest the proceeds. You see less extra in your checking account today, and 10 times more options later. Here's the rule I use. Whenever I made extra money, I locked most of it in assets that I promised not to touch. I didn't admire big balances in a bank app. I fed a machine. You can do the same. Pay yourself by buying shares of something that works while you sleep. But before you build the machine, you pour a foundation. Think of a house you'd want to live in 20 years from now. You wouldn't stack new floors on wet concrete. You'd pour once correctly. Most people skip this, which is why a single gust knocks their finances over. Your foundation has 4 parts: clean debt, a cushion, credit you can trust, and tax shelters you actually use. Clean debt first. Not all debt is evil. Some of it is useful leverage that helps you move faster. Learn to distinguish, then act with urgency. Bad debt is high-interest borrowing that funds things that don't pay you back: store cards, consumer loans for clothes and gadgets, Any buy now, pay later that doesn't build your future. Good debt is low-interest leverage attached to assets or tools that earn more than they cost, like a reasonable mortgage on a rental or low-interest financing on a laptop that you use to produce income. Your first mission is to kill the bad debt using the avalanche method. List every debt and its interest rate. Make minimum payments on all of them. Then funnel every extra dollar to the highest interest balance until it's dead. Then attack the next highest. The reason is math. Every high-interest dollar you erase is a guaranteed risk-free return at that rate. I once carried a store card at 32 and a car loan around 15. That 32 card came first. It hurt. It also felt like I just removed a backpack full of rocks. You don't build wealth when the ground under your feet is moving. Next, build a cushion and emergency fund of 3 to 5 months of living expenses in boring cash. Not because cash makes you rich, but because cash keeps you from selling investments at the worst possible moment. Without a cushion, life's next flat tire or medical bill will force you to yank money out of your compounding machine right when it's down, and you will miss the recovery that makes compounding magic. The emergency fund is not a luxury. It's the seatbelt that lets you drive fast. Third, build credit on purpose. Think of your credit profile as your financial resume. One day, you'll want the right to borrow at the best rates. That right is not granted on the day you need it. It's earned in the years you behave responsibly. If you're 18 or older, open a starter credit card. Put small, predictable expenses on it: gas, a streaming subscription, and pay the balance in full every month. On time, every time. No interest. Over time, lenders will compete to lend to you, which lowers your costs and increases your options when the right opportunity appears. Fourth, set up and fund tax-advantaged accounts as early as possible. The names vary by country, but the principle is universal. Use the wrappers that minimize taxes on growth. In the U.S., yes, that might be a 401k through your employer and a Roth IRA you open yourself. In the U.K., that might be a SIPP for pre-tax contributions and a stock shares ISA for tax-free growth and withdrawals. In Canada, a TFSA and an RRSP play a similar dance. You don't need to memorize every rule on day one. You need to open the accounts, automate small contributions, and increase them every time your income rises. Every dollar, pound, or euro that grows without annual tax drag compounds faster than you think. With the foundation poured, you can finally focus on what gives most people job security anxiety. Building more than one income stream. Imagine your life as a suspension bridge. One cable is your salary, it's strong, until someone else decides it isn't. Add a second cable, a third, a fourth, and suddenly a cut in one line doesn't send the whole bridge into the river. That's what multiple income streams do. They don't just add money. They add survivability. Don't overcomplicate your first additional stream. Look at skills you already have or can learn quickly. The market pays for useful outcomes, not for job titles. Can you write clearly? Offer product descriptions or sales emails that actually convert. Can you edit video? There's a global shortage of editors who can turn chaos into clean cuts on a deadline. Can you manage projects? Small businesses will gladly hand you their chaos if you can return it organized. Can you code? Build tiny tools that save people time. Can you sell? Offer a commission-only test to a company you respect. Start small so you can start now. Then make your skill a little better each week. Raise the quality. Raise the price. Raise the bar. If the internet feels abstract, walk outside. Offline opportunities still print money. Window cleaning, driveway cleaning, simple landscaping, event photography, painting, manual trades that show up on time and deliver quality will never go out of style. The trick isn't to pick the sexiest thing. The trick is to pick something you can do well, then layer on a tiny bit of systems and marketing. While others hunt for the perfect idea, you will be moving, learning, and banking. Here's a principle I wish someone had tattooed on my wrist at 20. Sustainability beats sprinting. Yes, some projects pay more than others. Yes, you care about money. But if you choose a path you hate for the promise of quick cash, you will quit before the compounding begins. Pick work that you can wake up to without resentment. The market rewards people who stick around and get better because 90 of competitors will pivot away before they do the boring reps. Passion is not a requirement on day one, but interest matters, and so does the satisfaction of making something people value. Now let's demystify the thing everyone talks about and few people approach with discipline: passive income. Nothing is truly passive. Everything needs attention. But you can design income that piles up while you sleep as long as you feed it. Think of your earned income as the shovel and your investments as the hole where you bury seeds. If you only shovel, you will get tired. If you only plant, you will starve. Do both in the right order. Build your cash-generating skills and side hustle. Shovel aggressively. Plant consistently. For most beginners, the stock market is the simplest garden to cultivate. A broad, low-cost index fund gives you tiny ownership in hundreds or thousands of companies with one purchase. You're not guessing who wins. You're owning the winners as they emerge. Set up automatic, recurring buys weekly or monthly. Small amounts are fine. $5 a day is a coffee. $5 a day is also a future you're funding your freedom. Turn on automatic dividend reinvestment so your payouts buy more shares without you thinking. This is as boring as brushing your teeth. That's why it works. If you want a dash of spice after you've automated the core, learn the game of individual stocks as an education, not a religion. Read income statements, balance sheets, and cash flow statements. Learn what gives a business its edge: brand, network effects, proprietary tech, cost advantages. If you buy individual companies, do it with small positions you could hold for years and sleep at night. Don't confuse volatility with risk. The real risk is not knowing what you own and why. Real estate is the wealth engine people whisper about at family gatherings because it can combine cash flow, appreciation, and leverage. It's also the place where overconfidence ruins lives. When done responsibly, a rental property with a sensible mortgage can be paid by tenants while the asset rises over decades. That's the holy grail. Someone else pays off the debt while you keep the house. But leverage cuts both ways. If you borrow too much, tie up all your cash, and leave no margin for repairs or vacancies, a small problem becomes a foreclosure. If you're new, start by studying. Run conservative numbers, stress test your assumptions. And remember, you can also get real estate exposure through REITs and funds inside your investment accounts without fixing a boiler at 2 a.m. Crypto deserves one paragraph with a seatbelt. Bitcoin and Ethereum have lasted long enough to deserve cautious attention. They are volatile, speculative, and fascinating. If you decide to own some, treat it as a small satellite position, 5% or less of your investable assets for most people. Learn custody before coins. If you don't understand private keys, you don't own your crypto. Expect extreme swings. Never gamble rent money. The goal of the passive income phase is to multiply your cash, not to chase fireworks. Let me give you a clean human schedule that folds all of this into your week without burning you out. Mornings are for creation and compounding. Spend 90 minutes on your highest value skill before you open messages. Evenings are for systems and money. Spend 20 minutes on your financial foundation 3 nights a week. 1 night checking your budget and auto transfers. 1 night reviewing investments without tinkering. 1 night documenting a process you'll delegate later. Saturday morning, 2 hours for your side hustle's revenue engine prospecting, proposals, product, or production. Sunday, 60 minutes for reset. Plan the week's practice sessions, Set next week's automatic investment amount, review your courage calendar, and schedule one small scary action that stretches your comfort zone. That's it. Repeat. The rest of the time, live your life. Let's talk obstacles, because you will hit them. Your first debt payoff month will collide with an unexpected bill. Your first side hustle client will ghost you. Your first investment will dip the week after you buy it. Your first attempt to save on taxes will feel like paperwork. Your first calendar block for practice will get ambushed by urgent requests. This is not evidence that the plan doesn't work. This is the plan revealing who you're becoming. You want to become the person who responds, not the person who reacts. When the dip arrives, ask 3 questions. Has my timeline changed? Has my plan changed? Has my need for this money changed? If all 3 are no, you keep going. When the client ghosts, strengthen your process. Deposit up front, milestones with approvals, clear scope, one place for communication. When your practice block gets invaded, lock it with a name. Non-negotiable, future me meeting. You don't reschedule meetings with your future self. You show up. When you feel behind, remember that starting earlier is a superpower no one can hand you. You give it to yourself by beginning now, not when you feel ready. Since everyone loves a concrete example, let's do the math for a modest but life-changing scenario. Imagine you pick a freedom income of $50,000 per year. Your target is $250,000. You're starting from zero. You attack bad debt for 12 months while practicing your chosen skill every weekday for 20 minutes. Simultaneously, you set aside a tiny emergency fund, maybe $1,000, to get started, so chaos is survivable. Month 13, you're debt-free. You increase your automatic investment into a broad index fund to a number that's uncomfortable but survivable. You raise it again every time your income rises. You add one additional stream that brings in an extra $750 to $1,500 a month within 6 to 12 months. Half of that goes to taxes and operations. The other half funds investments. You learn the basics of a tax-advantaged account and fill it first. You keep your lifestyle inflation close to zero for 2 years while you build. That's extreme. That's how freedom arrives early. After 2 years of this, you'll look up and realize the number on your investment screen multiplied far faster than your brain expected. Not because you're a genius, because you stopped interrupting compounding and started feeding it. A quick word about safety and sanity. You are not giving up your entire 20s to grind your soul into dust. You are front-loading discipline so you can backload choice. Take care of your body. You won't enjoy freedom if your health is a wreck. Move your body daily. Protect your sleep. Cook simple food that makes you feel human. Build tiny friendships with people who are building too. Nothing torpedoes a plan like trying to do it alone. And while I'm not your financial advisor, I am your friendly professor reminding you that risk is not a monster to be avoided. It's a tool to be measured. The riskiest choice is drifting for 10 years while telling yourself you're thinking about it. Now, I want to give you simple scripts you can steal for the moments that decide your future. When your brain says, it's too late, say, the best time was last decade. The second best is today. My future self will beg me to start now. When your friend flashes a purchase that triggers your FOMO, say to yourself, assets before accents. Then fund your automatic buy and move on. When someone tells you to live a little, say, I'm living a lot later. Then smile and change the subject. You don't need to defend your plan to people who don't share your goals. When you want to procrastinate by learning more, say, just in time beats just in case. Then do the next tiny action. When you take a loss, say, tuition paid. Write the lesson in one sentence. Put it where you can see it. Don't pay for the same class twice. When the market tanks and headlines scream, say, on sale. Buy your small scheduled amount. Go for a walk. Turn off notifications. When you feel small, remember, I'm not trying to be impressive. I'm trying to be consistent. Consistency is the only impressive thing that lasts. All of this is abstract until you take one measurable step. So here's your 7-day starter plan. No drama, no fluff. Day 1, write your freedom income on paper. Multiply by 25. Write the big number. It will look ridiculous. Good. Tape it somewhere you'll see daily. Day 2, list your debts with interest rates. Set your avalanche plan. Make one extra payment, no matter how small. Day 3, open one tax-advantaged account you qualify for and set a tiny automatic contribution. $10 is fine. Start the pipe. Day 4, set up a recurring investment in a broad, low-cost index fund. Keep it small and automatic. Day 5, pick your skill. Block 20 minutes. Practice. Ship one tiny thing, even if it's ugly. Day 6, sell 1 unit of value. A microservice, a digital product, a single hour of your skill. Take the payment. Screenshot it. You just proved the market will pay you. Day 7, schedule one discomfort that grows your comfort zone by 1 centimeter. Ask for a raise with receipts. Post your offer publicly. Apply to a gig. Do anything that makes your heart tick up 5 beats. Then breathe and do it. You will be tempted to wait until you know enough. You don't need to know everything to begin. You need to know the next step and take it. The plan will evolve as you move. That's not a bug. That's the point. The person who acts learns faster than the person who debates. You're not locking yourself into a narrow hallway. You're walking into a field and choosing a direction. Before we close, let's handle the elephant in the head. What if I never reach the big number? You will reach a version of it far sooner than you expect if you stop measuring only in dollars and start measuring in optionality. Every dollar of bad debt you kill buys you speed. Every dollar you invest early buys you time. Every skill you master buys you pricing power. Every process you delegate buys you hours. Every tax wrapper you use buys you compounding. Every new income stream buys you resilience. Freedom isn't a switch. It's a dimmer. It gets brighter long before it's blinding. And now, just one more question, the one I started with. If I handed you the power to replace retirement with freedom in your life, what's the smallest non-negotiable thing you would do before you sleep tonight? Would you write your freedom number? Would you open the account? Would you set a 5 automatic buy? Would you cancel 1 subscription and redirect it? Would you practice your skill for 20 minutes with a timer? Would you send 1 pitch? Would you put 20 into a mini emergency fund jar and label it calm? Do 1, not 5. 1. Then set a repeating reminder. Tiny gears, spinning every day, move bigger machines than giant levers pulled once a year. You are not worse than millionaires. You are not cursed. You are not late. You are, for the first time perhaps, seeing the game without the fog. The school script prepared you to be reliable for others. This plan prepares you to be reliable for yourself. Build your foundation. Add your cables. Plant your seeds. Protect your focus. Raise your ceiling 1 discomfort at a time. And when people ask how you retired early, tell them the truth. You didn't retire. You earned freedom. Then you decided what to do with it. That decision, every day, is the point.